Hey YouTube, you might recall the video I posted here a few weeks ago about a shaper setup that I have on a Powermatic 27 Super for running 5-piece cabinet doors. And it's put into the acid test this week here, running some maple for a man cave for my sister-in-law. And I'm noticing that some of my short rails seem to be having an issue where it actually starts to turn into a wood chipper versus actually profiling. So what I've discovered is, well, first of all, see if I can find a piece. Well, here's a prime example. This just is not good, and this is actually one of the better ones. But what was happening is that the piece is going in face down like this. And once it would come in contact with the cutter, it would want to pull it in like this here. Now I have the power feed angled this way so it's against the fence. And the more I futzed with the arrangement of the power feed in correlation to the spindle, it didn't seem to get any better. In fact, certain positions it was a lot worse. So I had addressed the tires. I took a piece of sandpaper while the power feed was running and lightly had addressed the tires while the rollers were turning. In the process, the last tire, I managed to get my fingers pinched. That was a good move. So that pissed me off even farther. But anyways, long story short, I couldn't figure out why this setup wasn't working. So I started looking at the feed rate here. Now, this power feed was sold to me, according to the website, it was sold as a 16 feet per minute minimum and like a 43 feet per minute maximum. And I was after the slow speed. So this whole time I'm under the impression this thing's running 16 feet per minute, which is 3 feet per minute faster than the big power feed I used to run on the other shaper for doing the same task. Well, lo and behold, you can't really see this too clear. But in order to get 16 feet per minute, you have to be running at a 50 hertz frequency 220 single phase versus 60. If you're running at 60 hertz frequency like we do in the US, you're getting 20 feet out of it. So I thought, you know what, that's an easy fix. I can go to my Delta power feed here, which is pretty much identical, and swap the gear set out of there, because about a year ago I swapped the gear set out and put in a slow gear set that I got from Grizzly that they were selling with their power feed. Now, lo and behold, this quarter horse power feed and this quarter horse power feed are extremely identical. In fact, they're both made by the same manufacturer in Taiwan called Powermatic. However, there's still a difference between the brand, as far as the brand name that's buying the power feeds. So, what I've discovered is that I wanted to take this gear set out. I've got it unplugged, by the way. I wanted to take this gear set out and replace it with the gear set from the Delta. So, as I'm doing this, let's see if I can. Okay, that one comes out just fine. Okay, so I got the little one swapped out. Now I take the big one out. Okay, so there's a little bit difference in size here, so this is going to make it run slower. Well, here's where the problem is. I'm not going to get that on there because the gear, that's a good one, the gear is hitting the casting. So I think the only way I'm going to be able to make this work, is I really want to make this work, is to probably take a little die grinder and grind into this casting here a little bit to make room for this big gear to go around. Otherwise, this power feed's never going to work. Well, then I was thinking, it's like, well, why don't I just take the Delta power feed off the saw and swap it with this one, put this one back on the saw. But as you can see here, the castings are a little bit different. I got a double joint here versus on the Delta I also have a double joint, but this one's at an angle, so it won't let me move this arm closer to the motor like this one here. Plus, this power feeds 220, which I've got tied into the bottom side of the contactor. This one's 110. That's not a really big issue, but I could tie this power feed into the bottom side of that contactor and I could take that power feed and plug it right into the outlet up there. That's not a big deal. But the fact is that the mounting's not going to work, shy of having to re-drill holes over on this side of the shaper. So my lesson learned here is that you do get what you pay for, and I'm going to have to do a little tinkering to make this one work properly, but that is my biggest problem, is that this power feed is too aggressive for running this profiled cut. So, lesson learned. Take it from somebody who's been here and done that. Also, my other lesson learned is to verify with the manufacturer that it is what they say it is. They told me it's 16 feet per minute. Yep, it is 16 feet per minute if you're not in the US, where you're running a 50 hertz frequency. Anyways, so that's my babbling. I'll keep you posted. Thanks for watching.